gratitude. The reason the subject is so important is because I find it to be the best and the quickest way to raise your vibration, to bring your mood to the right place, or to the place of a lot more opening, a place of happiness, a place of joy. What is gratitude? Gratitude is appreciation for what we have. Gratitude is appreciation for anything and everything. Uh, in, Very often, even in times when we're really, really low and low on energy, or we feel really low and life has, we feel like has beaten us down, we still can find something to be grateful for. And that's why I think it's very important to use gratitude in your daily life to practice uh, being present and practice attention to what is good, to what is making you happy, to anything around you that is bringing that uplifting feeling. I have a quick story for you. The reason I want to share this story is because it has to do with gratitude. When I was a very young girl, we lived in Moscow, Russia, and we lived in a very nice apartment with my parents. I was very fortunate to have both of my parents who were very loving. I have a sister. We both were growing up together. She was an older sister, and she has always been really, really good to me. And, I never really had to worry about a lot in my life growing up. And we never really, struggled for anything. We never, lived in luxury, but we were very comfortable. And I never really had to worry, which is really what a child, should experience. But I think the great thing about this story is that my father, when I was about 8 or 9 years old, we went to St. Petersburg, where my father was from, and we went to visit my father's aunt, and we went to see how she lives. She lived in a small communal apartment, and I'm not sure if you know what a communal apartment is, but it's basically an apartment that's been subdivided into rooms that has a bathroom and a kitchen, and is used by, depending on the amount of rooms that have been subdivided, all different, and that's shared by different families. So basically, for example, if it's a 4-room apartment or a 3-room apartment, I think it was a 4-room apartment. It was in an old building that was built way before the revolution. That after the revolution has been subdivided into the small rooms that was shared by 4 families, and one of them was my aunt, living in a tiny little room, and she shared a bathroom and a kitchen with 3 other families. And they had to take turns who eats dinner, who eats breakfast, who eats lunch, at what time. They had to share the food, or the stove, the part of the stove. So each one of them had one of them. So if they were cooking dinner, they only had one pot that they could cook on the stove at one time. If they were using the bathroom, the whole family had to wait for the rest of the families to finish, and they would take turns, and the same with the phone. So you can imagine that this was very different from me growing up in a 2-bedroom apartment with my parents and feeling, living very, very comfortably. I had to wait. My biggest thing was I had to wait for my sister to use the bathroom, or to share a bedroom with my sisters. This was the biggest problem that I had. And I remember when I walked into this apartment, I felt so scared, because they had like one light hanging in the ceiling, and it was a pretty dire situation. And I felt, and the ceiling was not finished from the construction, and part, like, stuff was leaking off the floor. And my father looked around and he said, "See how other people live. Look at this." And I love my dad's aunt. She was a wonderful lady. She was a teacher. She lost her husband in the first days of the Second World War, and that's how she lived. And she was very appreciative. She was so proud that we came to visit, and she introduced us to all the families that she shared the apartment with, and she was so happy. And I remember as a child, this really imprinted on me. The whole feeling of looking around and seeing this horrendous conditions that she lived in, but her being so amazingly proud and happy with what she had. And my father bought her a TV, and she was so happy to have this TV. And eventually, my father moved her out of that apartment and got her a one-bedroom apartment, so she no longer had to share the space, which she was immensely grateful for until the end of her life. But the reason I'm sharing this story is I remember how grateful she was for everything. And when she would come and visit, she never ever complained. She'd always say to my dad, because she would say to her, well, you can't live like this. We're going to find a way. And she said, I'm so grateful. The war is over. We don't have to suffer. I have all this nice family. So she always looked for the good in situations. And I always remember her very cheery and very upbeat and very happy. And I remember comparing my life and seeing that apartment. I really started appreciating that life was not, it truly hit me that life was not that perfect for everybody. And I felt very grateful for what I had. So sometimes it's important to go and see and look at, and help others who are less fortunate and see how other people live if we feel like we're missing something. So one of the things that is helpful when you want to practice gratitude, if you ever feel like you're missing something in your life, there's lots of information on the internet. It's always good to go out of your way to help somebody. It's a really good way to feel grateful for what you've got and to have an opportunity to share something and make somebody's life better. That will bring your spirits up, and it will allow you to feel more grateful for what you have. Because if you're looking for a way to remind yourself how fortunate you are, you can look around and you'll find people who are less fortunate for many different reasons. So I find paying attention to what you're feeling and understanding where that feeling of lack or sadness or something missing coming from. In the end of the day, material possessions is not something that makes us happy. So it's what will be the feeling that will help you bring that happiness and joy. And gratitude is the biggest thing, and is the easiest thing to get to. So I suggest that you make gratitude your daily practice, and that could be something that you can do either in the morning or in the evening. I find that during the day we're usually really busy, and it's kind of hard to find time in stillness to be able to be present. But if you are struggling throughout the day and need a reminder of how lucky and fortunate you are, I suggest when you're driving, for example, and you're looking at the traffic and you're thinking, oh my God, this is crazy, I can't handle it, what kind of city I live in, or if there's some other things, drivers cut you off and you feel overwhelmed, I suggest you think about what are the three things that you're grateful for. What are the things that make you happy today, right now, in this specific moment? Not in general, but something that will allow you to come back to the present moment. Very often when emotions and feelings overtake us, we feel that we're entrapped. It's really hard to step off that feeling. And usually the feeling is something that is triggered within us that happened in the past. And when you think of something that you're grateful for, it allows you to separate yourself from the feeling, from that emotion, and be present in a specific moment, right now, in that moment. And when you look around and you think about, or you kind of look within and think about what are the things in your life right now that are making you happy, or thinking about something that truly makes you happy. If it's your pet, if it's somebody that loves you, or somebody in your life that you appreciate, or the smallest thing, the coffee in the morning. So anything and everything can allow you to come back to that feeling. When I think about practicing gratitude on a daily basis, I find that there's different mediums that you can use. And when you have a certain practice, it's good to have something that you have prepared in advance. I find that having a separate gratitude journal is always helpful. If you can have that by your bed, this way you can practice it when you first get up, and that way your day starts off on a very different level, because you actually remind yourself how fortunate you are. And it allows you to be present in that moment when you wake up. Or before you go to bed, it allows you to look at your day and think about what are some of the things that you're grateful for, so that you can go to bed with that sense of contentment and satisfaction or happiness, and a reminder that you have things to be proud of, to be happy about, and that you have reasons to be happy, even though sometimes you might be feeling differently. So, if your medium is going to be a gratitude journal, or you're going to write it in your phone, there's a number of apps that you can use on the Apple iPhone or any other phone that will allow you to write down things that you're grateful for. I find the gratitude journal, the physical part, the physical function sort of writing really helps me and brings me to that stillness and to that place of being present. But for some people, if you want to use an app, there's lots of things, and you can use the app on the go. So when you're driving, I mean, I don't recommend that you use the phone when you're driving, but when you're in the middle of something and you need that moment to ground yourself and to bring yourself to the present time, I recommend to use an app. I also have smaller diaries that I use in my car if I ever need to write something down or to write things that I'm grateful for. But I use this to bring myself back to the place of my mind wanders, and there's certain memories or feelings coming up. And I look around, and especially in times when I feel, if I'm upset about something, I find that I always can turn it around with thinking about what is working for me, what am I grateful for right now. So I'll give you an example today. I took my dog to the groomer this morning really early, and when I showed up, there was a miscommunication about how much time it would take, and I planned my day around it. And when I started asking them what was going on, they I could tell, slightly annoyed with the fact that I expected them to be done earlier than they would be done. And part of me right away felt like I'm going to feel annoyed too. I started to feel annoyed, and then I started thinking about how grateful I am to have an opportunity to have a pet, and to take him and give him an opportunity to be groomed and to be clean, and for the people that will take care of him for the next few hours. So you can always turn around whatever you're thinking to something that's working, to what you're happy about and what makes you grateful and uplifts you. And I have one more thought on gratitude. Sometimes using the practice of preemptive gratitude can really bring you to a place of happiness, and also can help you bring things into reality that you're dreaming about. So what is preemptive gratitude? It's being grateful and appreciative for things that are not there yet. So I suggest that practice usually in the morning, but you can do that in the evening as well. So you can think about what it is that you're looking to bring into your life. And you can think about those things, and you can imagine yourself having them. So for example, if you're looking to kind of take your career to the next level, and you specifically have an idea of where that place is, you can start thinking about what that would look like, or taking your business to the next level, or going to travel to a place that you've been dreaming about. And you can think about what that place is, or what is it that you're looking to have, or to come into your reality. And you can imagine yourself there and feel immense gratitude for what you want, imagining that it already happened. And think the gratitude, and say your thank yous, and say, thank you, universe, thank you, source, whatever your spiritual belief is about, kind of, what is it that we're connecting to when you're praying, or when you're saying your thank yous. And thank you for bringing this into my life, and feeling gratitude in your heart. What happens when you say thank you, if you think about it, or if you allow yourself to feel what thank you feels like, it's an opening word. It's gratitude is a very heart-opening emotion. And when you open your heart, you allow your body to relax. You also allow the openness and the vastness to come in to your life. So practicing preemptive gratitude is one of the things that you could do to allow yourself to feel what it would be like to be doing, or experiencing what you want, what you wish to bring into your life. So I suggest that you can start in the morning when you wake up, and allow yourself to feel grateful for whatever it is that you're wanting to experience, and to say thank you as if it already happened, and see what happens, and how it makes you feel, and what it brings up to you. Allow yourself to get to that place without letting your mind overtake what you're feeling and experiencing. and allow yourself to really be there and be present and believe that it's possible for it to happen. So practice gratitude every day, morning, evening. Find a medium that you could use to either write things down, or use the phone or an app that you can put your thoughts in, or what it is that you're grateful for, and practice preemptive gratitude. So be grateful for things that are not there yet, but that you really want to happen, and feel that gratitude fully and with your whole body, with your whole heart, and see what happens. I'd love to hear how this works out for you, and I wish you the most amazing day, and thank you very much for watching.